welcome. Hola, mi gente hermosa. Welcome back to Where's My Tea y Mi Té, el podcast en Spanglish, donde we spill chismes, we heal from pendejadas y we laugh. Porque, si no, as you can see, today I'm actually having tea porque it is nighttime. And dime, ¿quién se va a meter todo ese café para después no poder dormir? Nada. Así que, with that being said, yo soy su host. I'm Luisa, dominicana, Jersey raised. I'm a mom. And la reina de escuchar comparaciones, mi amor, que yo no puedo. Because today, we're talking about one of the biggest struggles for us Latinos growing up. And you know what that is? The weight of expectations. Literal, when your parents say, mira, los hijos de los fulanos están haciendo tal cosa, la hija de fulana está haciendo aquello, ¿y por qué tú no haces esto? ¿Y qué tú no estás haciendo con tu vida? Honestly, like lady, I'm just here trying to succeed at life and pass algebra and mind my own business. Pero tú quieres compararme con titirimundato. Make it make sense. So, pónganse cómodos, busquen su cafecito, busquen su tecito, busquen lo que ustedes quieran. And vamos a get into it. Y para los que se preguntan, mi tecito de hoy es un té de Jamaica. Because ahorita me dicen, ahorita me acaban, me dicen, ¿qué es lo que tú tienes en ese vaso? Un tecito de Jamaica. Relajarme. Dime. So, nuestro primer segmento es el té caliente. And for the té caliente, today we are going to speak about the expectations. Okay? Now, let's keep it 100% real. Latino parents love la comparación. Love it. Like literally, they do it like it's an Olympic freaking sport. O sea, all you hear, like growing up, o sea, it was such a thing. Like, all you hear is, mira los hijos de fulana que están haciendo tal cosa. Mira, los hijos de fulana compraron eso. O los hijos de fulana hicieron aquello. And it's like, it made you feel like, honestly, so inadequate. So inadequate because here you are, trying your best, haciendo lo que uno puede, ¿verdad? O sea, at the end of the day, I remember, even myself when I was younger, like, dude, I'm just young and I'm trying to figure it all out. I'm trying to, navigate the world, figure out what I want to do with my life. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't help escuchar comparaciones with everybody and anybody. Like, I don't know how they figure, like our Latino parents figure that like comparing us to other people or other kids or whoever was gonna make us magically, no sé, say like literally un mega genius, Albert Einstein. Porque dime, like how is that helping? How? Like, make it make sense. So anyway, yeah. I mean, listen, literally, I felt like at times, and I don't think I'm the only Latino daughter that ever felt like this. Like at times I felt like, man, it's hard enough being a child, it's hard enough being a kid, it's hard enough being Hispanic. But here I am having to compete with other kids that sometimes you haven't even met. O sea, ellos te estaban comparando con muchachos que cuando venía a ver, tú había visto que one time en passing, tú no conocías a esa gente, tú no sabías, like you weren't like really like friends with them or anything like that, like It's not like you were cool, you were friends, you were this, you were that. Like, no, like you, maybe you knew them in passing, but it's not like you formed some kind of bond with these kids. Like, and let's not forget the sacrifice guilt trip. Because I know we all got it. We all got it. That's just what it is. We all got the sacrifice guilt trip. The classic, when we came to this country, cuando llegamos a este país, fue para que ustedes tuvieran una mejor vida. And I think for a lot of us, the translation of that was disappointment. Like, it would naturally cause us to feel like our parents were perpetually in a state of disappointment with either where we were at life or what we were doing or everything, like anything. And it's like, dude, we get it. You crossed oceans, you worked 3 jobs, you sacrificed, O sea, we get it. But those sacrifices don't mean that you have to necessarily dictate or guilt trip you into doing necessarily what you want. And if you can tell, I'm trying to be very cautious in how I word that because it's a very touchy subject. It's a very touchy subject. I feel like for a lot of Latino and immigrant kids, our parents meant the best. That they meant the best of the best of the best. But with that being said, yes, they meant the best. But sometimes it caused us to feel like we had to carry the weight of not our own dreams, but theirs. Um, like, and then also you get the feeling of, bueno, si tú quieres ser alguien en la vida, tú tienes que ser un doctor, una doctora, un abogado, un maestro, un ingeniero. God forbid you said something like, I want to be an artist. I want to draw. I want to paint. I want to sing. God forbid you said anything like that. It's not that they didn't support you. It's not that they didn't support you. Because one thing I know about Latino parents, they go hard for their kids. But it's not that they didn't support you. They just, I feel like a lot of our immigrant parents didn't understand that success doesn't always wear una bata blanca y un traje de corbata, you know? And I think that's where a lot of the disconnect happened. Because I think our parents were raised in a time where si tú veías a alguien encajado, ¿verdad? Con un traje, una corbata, tiene que ser un abogado, eso tiene que ser un doctor, eso tiene que ser una persona que trabaja en un banco, you know, and that caused unknowingly, I guess, an expectation that the people that were doing those jobs were doing much better in life. And it's understandable, right? Like, our parents didn't want us to struggle. But I think that in their quest por no querer que nosotros pasemos trabajo y no querer que nosotros necesariamente pasemos lo que nuestros padres pasaron, nos pusieron una presión indescribable, you know? And thinking back, I'm like, wow, man, like us Latinos, like it was tough. And I speak for Latinos because I mean I can imagine that it would have been hard for any demographic, right? Any race, any group of people. But growing up, yo era latina, obviamente soy latina, mi grupo de amigos y amigas eran latinos, a la mayoría. So I can kind of remember those related life experiences, um, and sharing those moments with our parents. So with that being said, vámonos al próximo segmento que se llama Mape Moment, the career I never wanted. So boom, fresh out of high school, I had no clue what I wanted to do with my life. Nada, nada at all. Yo me acuerdo que yo me gradué y yo, de verdad, no que yo no quería, yo no que yo no sabía lo que quería hacer con mi vida, sino que I was so indecisive. Y I think that's also a big misconception, the pushing college so hard and so fast. Because unfortunately, there are kids that just don't know what they want to do. I know somebody that cambió su major como 5 veces. Como 5 veces. Un día se levantaba y se daba cuenta que eso no era lo que quería hacer. Mas, sin embargo, you're still wasting money, like, right? You're still paying for a college education. You're still going to the classes and doing the things that you have to do. But a cada rato, you were kind of like starting over, ¿verdad? Because you're major hopping, como quien dice. And something like that happened to me. When I was 18, I remember I graduated and I had no clue what I wanted to do because there was a world of possibility, right? And I didn't really even know myself that much to know qué era lo que yo quería hacer, qué me gustaba, qué me apasionaba, qué me hacía sentir bien. So all my friends, I remember at that time, were going into some sort of like the medical field. A lot of my friends were doing um, medical assistance and, medical billing and coding and things of that nature. So I was like, okay, if my friends are doing it, bet I'll do it too, right? Not because I loved hospitals or needles necessarily, but because I was scared of the look. I was scared of the look of disappointment when you tell your fam that you're not gonna go to college right away, you know. And especially, I feel like being the oldest daughter, it was also hard because I felt like I had to set an example for the ones coming after me. So, yo sentí como una presión que yo misma me puse encima, ¿verdad? Me puse en mis hombros, pero una presión de, okay, you have to figure it out. You have to see what you want to do. You have to, make decisions. And like I said, I just kept thinking about the look of, ay Dios mío, ay Dios mío, ¿y será que no va a ir a la universidad? ¿Y será que ella no va a hacer nada? And that look makes you question every decision, you know? Uh, so there I was in scrubs, my stethoscope around my neck, thinking I was giving Grey's Anatomy vibes. Spoiler, yo no soy nada como Meredith Grey. I was more like background nurse number 4. Um, But yeah, it's just thinking about it takes me back to a different time. But anyway, I did it. I went to school. I got a certification, and I ended up with student loan debt, certification, and a degree that I basically never used because I realized once I finished it that it wasn't for me. Not only was it not for me, um, it just I didn't see myself doing that. You know what I'm saying? For a while, I did um, do some work at like a clinic and everything, but the more I was there and the more I was working there, the more I realized, bro, eso no era para mí, you know. And truly, if I'm going to be honest, I really did it because I wanted to appease my family. I wanted to make my family happy, to make them proud, to make them say, wow, ella está haciendo tal cosa. And the gag is, I didn't even like it. I didn't even like it. So, mi gente, ¿quién terminó siendo la mape o la más pendeja en esa situación, en este cuento? Esta que está aquí. Because, babe, the pressure is real. Okay? The pressure is real, mi amor. And you don't realize it until later that you weren't ever really chasing your dream. You were chasing approval. And approval, I can argue and say that it's the most expensive degree that I've ever earned because it took me so many years into my adulthood to know myself enough and confidently to say, esto no es lo que me gusta, esto sí me gusta, esto no va conmigo, esto sí va conmigo, esto es lo que me hace sentir bien, esto es lo que no me hace sentir bien. Y earlier on, as many of us did, we just saw approval, we saw approval, whether it was from our parents, whether it was from friends, whether it was from other family members. Yo creo que creciendo como hispano y creciendo como latino, nosotros de verdad queríamos como esa aprobación, ¿verdad? Esa aprobación eh, y sentir que lo estábamos haciendo bien, ¿verdad? Que estábamos haciendo las cosas como se debían de hacer, you know? Con eso, mi gente, vamos a entrar al tercer segmento, que es el té que sana. Aquí, el té que sana, mi gente, is that so many of us grew up carrying the weight of expectation. Okay? So many of us felt like we were being compared con el hijo o la hija de fulana. En buen dominicano, el hijo o la hija de fulana. And we felt like we had an obligation not to waste the sacrifices that were made for our sake and for our well-being and for our, futures. Pero a veces era como un sentimiento de sueña, pero sueña algo asequible. No sueñes tan grande. That's how it felt a lot of the times. And we listened. Some of us, like me, ended up in careers that we didn't want with those debts. Y con los sueños de nosotros, o sea, buried deep down. All because we were scared of not having that approval and not wanting to answer the question of ¿qué estás haciendo con tu vida? Y yo creo que esa mirada a veces como que parte de mí piensa como que cortaba más como que, cualquier cosa. Because you'd be like, damn, like, am I disappointing my parents? Am I not doing what I should be doing? Should I just go ahead and be a doctor, be a, lawyer or whatever? But you know what? Let me tell you something. It's okay. It's okay. We did what we had to do as immigrant children to survive those moments. Um, we made choices with the tools that we had at that time. And I don't think that any of us can fault us for that. You know what I'm saying? None of us can feel bad or be too hard on ourselves for those decisions, because like I said, we did the best with the tools that we have. And as with anything in life, when you know better, you do better. So if you've ever felt like you wasted time or money or energy um, trying to please others, whether it's your parents, whether it's your friends, I'm here to tell you that you didn't necessarily waste that time and that energy. And I say this because eso nos impulsa a crecer, a aprender, and to realize that approval does not mean happiness. Okay? And that took me personally a long time to figure out, you know, okay, yes, it's nice to get the approval, but is that what makes you happy? Because it's two very different things. Um, our parents, sí, sacrificaron mucho por nosotros, but they also gave us resilience. They also gave us a lot of resilience, and that means that we get to choose what our success looks like. We get to choose that success is not just poniéndose un traje para ir al trabajo o poniéndose una bata de doctora. Success is peace. Success is passion, the things that you're passionate about. Success is waking up with a purpose and loving what you do and doing what you love and saying, this is what I want to dedicate my life to. And being at peace with that decision. So, whether your purpose is raising babies or building a business or haciendo cuadros en tu sala or starting a podcast, after 30 and realizing that you have a lot more to say than you ever thought. It's okay. It's okay, mi gente. Breathe. Breathe, because you are not less than because you didn't become like los Hijo de Fulana. You are not less than because you chose other things and you didn't fit a cookie cutter mold. Okay? You are not a failure because you chose differently. And you are proof that us as Hispanics, as Hispanic immigrants, as children of Hispanic immigrants, we can both honor our parents, because that's very important. I'm not saying it's not. We can honor our parents, but also honor ourselves. Honor being true to ourselves and what we want to do, and the life that we want to live. Porque the truth is, we didn't grow up to carry guilt. Okay? We grew up to carry legacies. And our legacy is to live free, to live happy and whole y sin miedos, sin vergüenza por lo que decidamos hacer con nuestra vida, and for the audacity to do it on our own terms. So, that, mi amor, was Desde Sana. So once again, mi amor, thank you so much for joining me this Thursday. And if this struck a chord, or if you felt identified with any part of this episode, share it. Share it con esa prima que está harta de que la compare. Share it con esa amiga que está harta de que su mamá la compare con la prima tóxica, que la mamá no sabe que es tóxica. Share it with that bestie que todavía no le ha explicado a su mamá y a su papá que ella quiere estudiar psicología y no derechos o leyes, porque ella prefiere sanar corazones en vez de buscar justicia. So, yeah, that was today's episode. Next week, we're spilling tea on all the things that nobody wants to say out loud, but we probably should. Like, we probably should be loud and proud and say, listen, this is how it was growing up. Was it the same for you? So don't miss it. Nos vemos el próximo jueves. It's a date, you and me, and a cup of tea. No te lo pierdas, mi amor. Trae tu mug, porque acuérdate, el té se sirve mejor